So we're here in Wu Yi Shan. Now this is the inner circle. This is the True Cliff region, and we're right behind the most famous Da Hong Pao, the 6 trees that was known as the Great Red Robe. And this whole area is now just basically known as the Great Red Robe area. This is one of the most desired locations in this whole general area, the True Cliff region. This is the real deal. And I guess it's so cliffy, it's so beautiful. We're now taking a break before we continue on to pick tea. Oh shit! I should get this way. Oh. Ooh. My feet! Oh, it hurts. Tea trees. See, best tea trees grows in dips in the shadowy areas. So that's why these teas are so awesome. Cave of Night Dragons. Oh my god. Ah. Delicious. This specific area, this is behind the Da Hong Pao, the Great Red Robe. This specific area is actually called the Cave of Night Dragons. This is one of the best locations for cliff tea. Within the true origin of the Wu Yi Shan, they're like pinpointed dips, caves, rivers, creeks, like very specific rocks. Every single step, the terroir gives the tea something that's really different. And so it's actually down here, and we're gonna follow. Many people did not know the Oolong tea does not use buds. So what we're picking here, we're actually waiting for the tea leaves to all grow, opened up. This used to be a bud like this, and now it's fully opened up, and this is a good pick. This varietal here is called Fujian, and it's actually an old grove. You can see the moss here. Can you see the moss on these trees? This gives the tea some really nice flavor, highly desirable in the market. These kind of teas in the market last year sold, on average, about 98,000 RMB per pound, which basically is about $16,000 a pound. It's really expensive tea.
他做的很好闻，是啊，他这个老板每一年茶哈都是拿状元的嘞。
哎，
是啊，他在这里很多人种茶的，几百户人种茶哈，他那个茶每一年都拿状元，拿4年状元了。4
年状元，对呀。
你没有看见他的牌子啊？金牌。
看到了。
看到了哈。是啊，
So this lady here is really proud of her boss. Basically, you know, the farmer family of this region. She was saying that for the past 4 years, he's been the winner for the tea competition. So out of over 100 households in the True Cliff villages, he's the best. So she's really proud that she's picking tea for the best family.
就是那只能到这个地方，再比较标准一点。
Standard pick.
等一下这个
，yeah， 这个也是，就这根叶子就是保护的作用的。
对。
Oh, so basically the reason that we're picking so many leaves, and this leaf eventually is going to become the yellow leaf obviously, the stamp is going to get picked out too. The yield for cliff tea is really, really low. It's usually 5-1, over 5-1, versus other tea. Sometimes you can have 3 pounds of fresh leaves that gives you 1 pound of dry leaf. But cliff tea, 5 pounds gives you 1 pound. And she was explaining to me the reason that we are still picking one of the oat leaves is because when the tea gets rolled in the machine, it's actually going to protect all the other leaves because it's going to wrap around the stamp so it wouldn't get damaged. Without this one, the stamp is going to come up and it's going to puncture through all the tender leaves and it's going to damage the leaves. So that's why the yield is so low, but it's very necessary to pick one last oat leaves so it can protect the whole bunch. This is so awesome. This is a tea guarding leaf.
因为我们从那上面我们自己都走不下来，哪里还背得起肥料？你说是不是这样？相对来讲是就是会少一点点，不多。
So she was saying that this area, because it's so hard to get to, so it's impossible for them to even do like fertilizers and pesticides. And she was saying like they wish they could do that because on the flatlands they use fertilizer and that helps the tea to grow fatter, but it ruins the flavor of the tea. But over here, because the terrain is so hard to get to, all those things are even impossible to do. So these are like more organic than organic.
像这个都是被虫子吃掉的。
Yeah, see, these are all the holes that was bitten by the bugs. And this is what makes good tea even better. Good tea that grows on the high mountain area because the temperature is so colder. So sometimes pesticides is not even necessary versus the flatland teas, the plantation teas. Because the formation is so close together, the density and everything else makes the pesticides and fertilizer almost unavoidable. So this particular tree here is a varietal called Red Robe. It's a highly, highly sought after varietal for cleft tea. Because this location is called the Cave of Night Dragons. And this varietal, the Red Robe, ro in Chinese means meat. So sometimes people call the particular varietal come from this particular location, the dragon meat is highly, highly sought after, very expensive tea. And it's, out of all these tea trees, only this grove is the dragon meat. That's also what makes it extra valuable. I also want to show you can see, the leaves here looks very, very different. I have a Fujian here. Now this is a little geeky information about tea, but it's all same plant, right? But in general, we have different categories, like hundreds of varietals. And but varietal in general can be categorized into the small leaf variety and the big leaf variety. Now this is a small leaf variety, like see, small. And Fujian, this is the big leaf variety. You can see, they roughly look the same, but this is giant and this is tiny. Now Fujian and Red Robe, these are the two stable varietals in the True Cliff region. So if somebody sells you, let's say a Huang Mei Gui from True Cliff, no such thing, yeah. True Cliff, most of them are Red Robe and Fujian. So the horrible rain is coming down again. That's what the farmers dread the most. A lot of guys are resting here on their way back carrying the tea. 师傅，你觉得我能不能扛得动啊？你觉得我能不能扛得动啊？扛得动呀。扛得动啊？帮我整理一下。Oh shit! It's so freaking heavy! My shoulder. 这有多少斤呢？
这里面有80多斤。
Oh, he said, not much. It's only like about 40 kilos, like 90 pounds. That's it. I was like, what? I can barely lift it up. This is so freaking heavy. 你再帮我拿起来一下，我来试一下。哦。
后面重，
后面重一点No, my shoulder blade is gonna crack. 来，师傅扛一个，给我们看一下。您扛一下，我们看一下。He's like, it's not heavy at all. And then they can walk, all the rocky terrains, the slippery field with this. This is amazing. 不要，可以了，辛苦了。这是刚刚拉回来的。是哪里采的？
它里面就是到
红毛进去的，今天叫一个人去采。
哦。
多人去了也没得采，剩下昨天采太迟了，老子看不见了。
This is like 30 pounds of fresh leaves that just came back, actually from the Chuclef region. As we can see, the leaves is a little wet. This is not good, and that's what the farmers are worrying about. But there's always like the dilemma: if they don't pick the tea while it's wet, tomorrow it might grow old. But wet tea leaves does not give you the best tea, but old leaves might not give you tea at all. So the farmers always need to make a decision: do you want to pick wet leaves or do you want to pick old leaves? It's like they're both bad, but which one is a little less bad? So the tea has been wilted, and shaking the tea actually makes the tea comes to back to life again. It's to activate the enzymes, and after we shake the tea, we can see tea sort of like standing up again, and then we're gonna let the tea dormant again. We're gonna let the tea wilt again, and then reshake it. 您一个晚上摇多少遍啊？
至少7遍。
So they actually shake the tea 7 times per evening. 多长时间摇一次啊？ Yeah, it's about an hour, depending on the weather. They need to shake it every hour for like 7 times. For 7 hours, they need to repeat this process. And so many people say oolong tea making is basically putting the tea to sleep and then waking up the tea and then putting the tea to sleep and then wake up the tea again. This way, the aroma of the tea actually goes on a curve. And finally, in the morning, when they're ready to kill all the enzymes in the tea, that's when the tea you freeze the tea at its best aroma. It's definitely not as easy.
没有，这耍出去，啊，摇着摇着摇着。
See, it keeps going like
圆的不推
it
出去
keeps，falling off the tray.
不能长的嘞。
So this, what I'm holding here is actually an ideally fermented tea leaf. You want to have basically kind of like a tender yellowish green center, and what they call a pork liver red edge. It's not just any red, but pork liver red. And what this is actually the center, but when the tea is actually being made, the edge is gonna get rubbed off. And only the center piece is gonna stay. So the edge is really telling that the center is made ideally, and this is the part you'll be drinking. This is the part that's gonna become tea dust. But without this edge, this part is not ready yet. So this tea has already completed the last round of churning, and then after that, it's been sitting here for an hour with some residual heat. It smells like fruits. It smells like apple skin. It smells really good, and that's when you know the tea is ready. Now we're gonna cool the grain. Basically, we're gonna stir fry the tea. We're gonna apply very high temperature to the tea leaves to cool all the enzymes in the tea, and that's how you freeze the tea at that right fermentation level where the tea is the most aromatic. basically adjusting the pressure on the tea. They need to do this a few times, usually 3 or 4 times. So they press it down and then they make it loose, press it down, make it loose. This way the tea can turn inside the machine. Also, when you press it down, it's tight enough to roll it into the string shape, and also all the juice come out to the surface. Right now we're baking the cliff tea the second time. The first time when we bake the tea is not dry completely yet. And then after we bake it first time, we want to let the tea sit for about 4 hours for the more moisture to come out from the tea. And then we bake it again. So this is the second round baking, and this time we bake the tea completely dry. And that's what's gonna give us the raw tea. During the primary tea season, we're only making raw tea. So what they're doing, they try to separate the steps. It's basically to pick out both the stems and then these lighter colored leaves. For cliff tea, half of the raw tea gets to be picked out. So only half of what's raw tea is the final tea. And these teas, this is the True Cliff region, right? Their tea sells for thousands of dollars. And however, the picked out stems and the yellow leaves, people come to collect them, and they sell for a fraction of what the final tea costs. The final tea in this village usually costs thousands of RMB. Divide up by 6, you get the USD dollars. Versus these get sells for usually less than 10 RMB, so just a little over $1. And I want to show you, these are the yellow leaves. These are the non-qualified stuff. These sells for less than 10 RMB, a little over $1 per pound. There are people collecting them. Does this look like the premium tea in the States? Actually, from a lot of the tea shops in the States, when I see the premium tea, it looks like the yellow leaf. It's not the real tea. It's actually the byproducts of tea, but it was sold as premium tea in the States. Now we're here at the most famous Great Red Robe, or Da Hong Pao. It's the 6 trees to the right of the 3 big words up here. Now these 6 trees, as you can see, they're literally growing on the cliff. That's what cliff tea got its name from. Now the Great Red Robe, or Da Hong Pao, is so famous it basically becomes synonymous with cliff tea. So freshly made cliff teas are believed to has too much heat, is too fiery. So a lot of people, when we're drinking the young tea, we are actually advised to spit it out instead of drinking it down. Otherwise, by the end of the night, we might have a swollen throat. So, very tasty.